Hello again, it's Garson, and this is going to be a quick guide for the Circle of Spores. It's the Necromancer Druid Subclass. So we're going to demo with a little Shillelagh, use Wisdom for our weapon attack, and now use Bone Chill from the subclass and attack at range. And we can use our bonus action for a free area spell, Spreading Spores. Yeah, and now I have a little defensive zone. Alright, and I can even attack with my reaction at range, like that. Yeah, okay. So, come and get me. Take some damage for entering the zone. I could use my reaction, but we're going to save it. Uh-oh. Whoa. Alright, cool. So, I could recast the zone again, get a little free spell. What I'm going to do, though, is I get bonus damage and temporary HP from my wild shape charges. So that means I can be pretty good at melee range as well. Bop them, and then bop them again with polearm mastery. And now I'm going to use a reaction. I get a fungal zombie, a little fungi to join me. We'll see if he can help me out here. Okay. Oh, no. Yeah, hit me, not my zombie. No problem. Okay. And I am a druid, so my zombie probably wouldn't hit that guy. Instead, I'm going to use a hold person spell. And now I'm going to get a free hit in with this. Boom. Free critical hits, free hits. Use Halo Spores. Boom. And now my zombie can definitely hit him and even crit him. Boom. And it leaves the crawling gnaw. So that means if I kill him now, he'll actually turn into another zombie for free. Ta-da! So there we go. And of course, any NPCs who walk into your spores are bound to die like idiots. So let's get right into it. It's the details we love. All right, so a big thank you to you guys watching. This is a quick guide, though, so let's get right into the Circle of Spores Druid subclass. If you wanted a Druid Necromancer, or you just like fun guys, this is going to be your subclass because cut these into different sections. You can skip around with a quick guide, and really quick, we're not optimizing or multiclassing. This is actually, if you've never played the subclass, we'll just get to the point and do its thing pretty well, but there's going to be longer, detailed videos in the pinned comments, all right? So let's get down to it. What it is basically turns Druid into an even more versatile caster that can play at any range for combat, and you even get some summon Necromancer play out of it too. But what it mechanically does for the subclass is it gives you temporary HP. The more you invest into Druid, the more temporary HP you're going to get, but you always get a fixed 1d8 by level 2 and onwards. When you have this up, this temporary HP up, you can use your wild shape charges that come back on short rest. You get this bonus damage, not on spells like Bone Chill or Blight, but you do get bonus damage to your weapon and unarmed attacks. So even monks can benefit from this. So it allows a reaction as a necrotic attack. This is Halo of Spores. It uses your reaction just like a manual attack you'll cast on somebody, like a free spell you can use, and it won't use an action or a bonus action, but it will use up your reaction point for the turn. So it also gives druids a necromancy spell list. You don't have to worry about swapping these in and out. They're always going to be available to you, like blindness, animate dead, or blight. And then you also get Bone Chill as a cantrip, which is actually a really good cantrip. But bonus necromancies also, per long rest, you'll get 4 charges of your fungal zombie that I made. And you can use this manually or as a reaction, and that'll complement really well with Animate Dead. So if you really like necromancy play or ever wanted to try it, this is actually probably the easiest necromancer to try. But let's just dive into the stats. The most important one is Wisdom. Wisdom is going to be actually our melee accuracy thanks to Shillelagh. You'll cast this before combat, and then it'll be your damage and accuracy thanks to that. In fact, there's more damage if we use Arcane Synergy to turn Wisdom into bonus damage. But we also have spell accuracy for Bone Chill, basically any spell save DC or spell attack, like Blight for spell save or Bone Chill for spell attack. And we also have a saving throw benefit because Wisdom really is one of the best saving throws in the game against things like Hold Person. And what about Squid Powers? I'll talk about that in the technical details. We're going to use this even more. Dexterity, though, to keep it simple, for using medium or lower armor, you get an armor class benefit out of dexterity, and you do get initiative bonuses, and we will be using 2 hand crossbows in the setup. And then there's Constitution. It's your HP, which is more important, but you do get a concentration bonus as well. So those are all the stats, and I recommend a spread like this. You could actually swap these 2 around, but again, for using the hand crossbows, I would highly recommend 16, and then you do 14 but wisdom's your everything stat, to be honest. Let's try to make this really easy. So let's look at the feats. We're going to boost from 16 wisdom all the way up to 20 by the end game, because, and you can rearrange these as well. I have polearm mastery here, but you really want that 20 wisdom because you do so much with your wisdom, and it makes the character a lot easier to plan for, build, and have more fun with. But polearm mastery is going to let us, now that they fixed it, you can even use a shield, but if you have a staff with polearm mastery, you can actually attack twice, almost as if you were a bit of a fighter. So that's pretty cool, given that Druid doesn't get extra attack. So you'll attack with your main hand, and you'll get a little bonus action offhand attack, which really goes well with the Necromancer, or the additional Necro damage from the subclass. So equipment, you're going to have medium armor just to keep things simple. Until level, or Act 3, where you get the Spore Keeper armor, you really want medium armor, but Spore Keeper has this awesome benefit where your spells like Blight and your Halo of Spores are a little more accurate thanks to this chest piece, but you also do a little more necrotic damage, which does stack up and add up. So I do like this, and this is the one character you're going to use this armor. Might as well do it. Also, for any stabs you're picking out, obviously you're going to want to go with the staff for Shillelagh, but you want Arcane Enchantment until you get this Necromancy staff. Arcane Enchantment is just going to make these guys up here more accurate. So Cherish Necromancy, if you want to lean into Necromancy, your Necromancy spells are going to be more accurate. And also you can steal souls, so you can actually cast Animate Dead for free, which you want to upcast this to the highest level to make a pack of ghouls. That's the best use for Animate Dead. So in Act 3, you're definitely going to probably want to look out for this staff if you like the whole summon play of the subclass. Otherwise, let's keep it simple. So 2-hand crossbows, I don't care what you grab, just make sure there's high weapon enchantment as much as you can. You're going to use this because your weapon attacks all get a necrotic 1d6 bonus for using Symbiotic Entity. So this allows you to play at whatever range you want, whether it's melee, the dexterity using ranged weapons, and just having that bonus dexterity or bonus necrotic damage. You can use your spell casting for Bone Chill, and you use your reaction for Halo Spores. You're going to actually attack a lot more than you'd expect, and you get to attack in a lot of varieties of ways. Okay, so Dark Justiciar is actually pretty good here too, because again, we're stacking more necrotic damage, and you can get these mid-game, like in the Hall, like Shar and Gauntlet. Then there's the Boots of Speed. You'll use these all game. I did. Since you are so versatile, but you kind of want to have the ability to be flexible with your range, having dash on a bonus action is really good. It'll double up your movement. It's actually better than that, but you might use this all game just to use your bonus action when you need to dash and reposition yourself. Trust me, especially in honor mode. So Arcane Synergy, we'll talk about this in the technical details, but you can turn your wisdom into more melee or any kind of weapon damage. So you can get this +5 added into your weapon damage. And Crusher Ring, I just like movement. We've just talked about that. So movement, and then Protection Ring. I would try to stack a little armor class on this character. So with the shield and an armor ring and some decent medium armor, you'll be doing pretty good. The Devout Amulet in Act 3, hey, this boosts up your spell save DC, so your Halo of Spores and your Blight and other spells are going to be more accurate. And the Armor Cloak. You'll use the Armor Cloak to get a +1 armor class, but you really want to swap it out for Displacement in Act 3 if no one's using it, because it really does add up like to disadvantage on attackers. All right, so for elixirs, I really recommend Vigilance. Vigilance gives you more initiative. Initiative means you go first every single turn. But if you're having trouble hitting Bone Chill, the ranged weapon attacks, or your staff attack, you might want to use Heroism. It's a really great underrated elixir. As for how to actually play this, your bread and butter is to always keep Symbiotic up. Even in combat, if you have 2 wild shape charges per short rest, you should always have this up at the beginning of the day. If you lose this mid-combat, it is actually worth it to put it back on using an action, and then just attack with Halo of Spores and your little offhand or whatever else you can do with the bonus action, and just maybe dash and get the hell out of there, right? But basically, Longstrider, you should definitely cast Longstrider on the whole team and yourself for extra movement. Outside of combat, you should use Enhance Ability and Guidance to get those dialogue checks, and then you can murder everybody. You can get experience for talking your way out of things, and then you get more experience for killing everybody. We get Cast Shillelagh before battles. If you knew a battle was coming up, cast this ahead of time. It doesn't suck to use your bonus action on the first turn of combat, but you could get an extra attack in. And then play around the mid-range in Act 1. Trust me, you don't have a lot of temporary HP, and you really want to keep this up. So I would play around with 2 crossbows and the Hail of Spores. This is a significant range, and this 20-foot range right here is what we call the mid-range, as opposed to the long range of 60 feet, you know, hitting all these over here, okay? And then obviously melee range is anybody in here. So that's what I mean by mid-range. And you actually get 3 attacks per turn if you think about it. You could do something like Bone Chill, right? And then you can go an offhand crossbow shot, right? And then you could use Halo of Spores all at the mid-range. So that's pretty good even in Act 1. And then you can bop enemies once you're getting comfortable getting in close, or if they have no reaction to attack you when you run away from them, you can come in and bop them with your Shillelagh staff and run away. So Healing Word is also a stupidly good spell to have in the early game, even all the way through the game, but to be able to at range heal somebody on a bonus action, so you do something else with your main action and your reaction, this will save combat, especially in honor mode. So safely picking somebody up at a distance can really save the game for you. And Hold Person is going to, like I showed you earlier, enable not only guaranteed hits on this person, but guaranteed crits as well. So it's going to be great later on if you want to play with the summons. But Spike Growth is an amazing spell. You concentrate and you have this big 30-foot area, and people walking through the spike growth will take damage, so that's really nice to concentrate on that. Also, Blind comes with your subclass. I can't stress this enough. If you can land this on a boss or a VIP target, they basically become effectively terrible at attacking you, but you also get the advantage against them, so your whole team benefits on that boss target, so don't sleep on this. Set spells before combat, though. If you've never played a caster, druids are awesome, because if you don't need Healing Word, or you think it's not useful anymore in the late game, you can swap it out for something before combat and get maybe Ice Storm or whatever, right? After that, it's more of the same bread and butter. Use every single action can be an attack. That's what I love about this subclass. So just use that bread and butter, and you have way more versatility with your spells up to about level 4 or even 5 in the mid game. So use your different spells. We'll talk about them in a moment. For instance, Dryad is awesome. Druids love the Dryad because that spike growth I just talked about, you don't have to concentrate on it anymore, and you can keep casting it for free every single turn. It's like having a mini druid on your team. So now she can keep casting it and applying free damage and setting up a zone of control, and she's concentrating so you can concentrate on something more powerful. So Sleet Storm is amazing against the undead. Let's just talk about this for a second. This drops concentration, but really what it does is it creates a gigantic icy zone. Do not step in this, but also zombies, undead really hate this thing. So my #1 recommendation is use this against the undead. Free movement is a costly spell, but it's worth it. So at least cast it on yourself. It'll last all day, no concentration, and you won't be paralyzed, and you'll ignore difficult terrain like the ones you set up. Zombies are now unlocked because you have the fungal infestation and the animate dead. These complement each other pretty well. You need dead bodies to use this, but don't rely too heavily on undead necromancy play, to be honest. It's just more dead bodies on the field to kind of soak up hits. And fungal zombies can actually hilariously get out of control with making those new zombies that last temporarily, like 10 turns. So this could be fun to play with, but don't rely on it. And then air elemental, I highly recommend elementals, especially air elementals. So the big recommendation here is that they have great initiative, they have great armor class, they have great dexterity, and they have an attack that pretty much always hits, and they have insane movement with warp and flight. That's pretty much what they're good at. They're just crazy good. Okay, so Act 3 is more of the same, more versatility, more bread and butter gameplay. But what is fun is you now have the bonus action, Spreading Spores little spell here. And allies won't get hurt, but any yellow targets will, and this will kill people at the end of combat, so just be careful of that. But this is an awesome additional action, like bonus action attack you can put down. You can use this every single turn for free. Also, Insect Swarm is a really good spell that stacks with a lot of your area stuff, like Spike Growth. Hero's Feast is absolutely worth using at the start of the day for a level 6 spell slot, so I would recommend that as well. And now you can be a little more lenient or feasible with necromancy play, just because you have more spell slots to upcast to the real necromancy, which is the ghoul pack, okay? But you need a lot of dead bodies and some spells slots for this. All right, multiclassing. Look for the stars for multiclassing, but in general, when it comes to leveling, so a lot of people like the Spore Druid at level 2, because if you mix this into a character, look at everything you're getting. You're getting level 1 spell slots. You're getting medium armor and shields. You're getting Shillelagh to use on, you know, your mental stat. You have Long Strider, guidance, and then the subclass brings in that bonus damage to attacks, which is what a lot of people like for the dip. But also you get the little reaction attack, which is pretty good, and it doesn't get any stronger for the rest of your druid levels. So if you can maintain the entity, you get this bonus attack and damage. Level 3 though, you get your level 2 spell slots as you level up. You can use Enhance Ability now. You can use Hold Person now. And you can use Spike Growth or Flame Blade, but this isn't really why people go Spore Druid. It's just the nice things about Druid in general. Level 4, you're getting your first feat, and level 5, you're actually getting level 3 spell slots, which means you can now use Animate Dead from your subclass. So I would hold off though. If you're here for the necromancy, you should go to level 6, because this is when you get fungal infestation, and this is really where a lot of people break the multiclassing off into something else. You have all half of your levels left to go into and maybe another necromancer like wizard or the new death domain, and you can use the fungal infestation. Otherwise, level 7, you do get level 4 spell slots like free movement or the dryad here. Level 8, you do get your next feat. Level 9, there isn't much to multiclass. You are getting level 5 spell slots, which is great, but this is more for like just being a druid in general. Elemental, insect swarm, and upcasting. And level 10 is when you get your spreading spores. So this spell right here, you can keep casting. It doesn't cost any spell slots, and it's just a bonus action. It's really great to set up zones, sort of like your dryad setting up spike zones, slowing them down, and then you can just drop this on top of the spike zone. That's awesome. So you may want to multiclass here because 2 more levels remaining, or even level 11, getting your level 6 spell slot. And Hero's Feast, Wall of Thorns, you still have 1 level to dip in, but otherwise you're a level 12 Spore Druid, which I really recommend. It's a lot of fun. You really won't feel like you're missing out from not multiclassing. So tech and info, let's talk about these for just a second. Symbiotic Entity, my recommendation to you is until you have a lot of druid levels, you really want to fight in the mid or long range, because it's going to use your wild shape charges up pretty fast if you keep taking hits in the early game. But the more druid levels you invest into, the more temporary HP you have, and thus you get to keep all these bonuses. And this really is what the subclass is mostly all about. So it gives you the 1d6 damage on weapon and unarmed attacks. So if you wanted to go a monk, you will get this 1d6 for maintaining this temporary HP. All right, but it does not affect Bone Chill, Blight. It does actually add double damage to Halo Spores, so a little differently, but instead of 1d8, it's 2d8 when you have Entity up, or Symbiote up. So Halo Spores itself is cool because it's a reaction attack. You don't use your action or bonus action, you use your reaction. And you can manually cast it, but it does now mean you can't use your reactions, okay? So be careful of that. Anything that uses a reaction point is now limited. But it is like a spell. It's con save, and it does do double damage with the symbiote active. And for some reason, we're going to talk about this in a second, Arcane Synergy Helmet activates when you miss. So at least you're getting a benefit when you miss, I guess. That's cool. But I would always start off a round of combat with this, if that's the case. That way, if you miss, you get bonus damage on your weapon. And if you hit, you just did 2d8. Spreading Spores is something at level 10. This is honestly one of the coolest things about going so deep into the subclass, because you can put this little spell down. You and your allies don't take damage in this, but neutral targets, like these NPCs, will walk into it and die and frustrate you in honor mode, so please be careful. It's a 2d8 on a bonus action. It's like a free spell, so it's awesome, and it won't hurt you or your allies, but it will hurt friendly NPCs, so watch out for that. And there's no way to cancel this thing. It's not a concentration spell. So, Shillelagh, if you've never played like a druid or the Pact of the Staff kind of gameplay, you can turn a staff or a club only, but it can now use your mental stat for attack and damage accuracy, right? So this is strong with Arcane Synergy because you can effectively double up the damage you get from, say, Wisdom, and you can be a melee battle mage kind of caster. It's awesome. So squid powers I don't usually recommend in these videos, but since we're talking about this helmet, I could not find a better reliable way, and I did use this myself on my Spore Druid. So ability drain is great here. Effectively, every time we hit somebody, whether it's our weapon, thanks to Shillelagh, or using Halo Spores, if it's the first person we hit per turn, they drain their wisdom, which is an amazing debuff in itself, but it is a debuff condition which activates Diadem, so this will pretty much always be up all the time, giving you more melee damage. It's awesome. Or weapon damage, really. So Arcane Synergy works stupidly well with this, and the Wisdom debuff will make it so Hold Person will probably land in some other spells too. So Wisdom, I actually played my Spore Druid with Strength Elixirs and the Dexterity Gloves, so that could work too. You could actually play like very little Wisdom, since this is kind of summon oriented and more of a weapon attacking subclass for the Druid. So I'm just trying to show you all the options, and I think the Wisdom, Polearm Mastery, Shillelagh is a way more fun way to play this, but Strength does have the ability to throw your zombies at people, so it's pretty funny. All right, so summons, there is the Dryad and the Air Elemental we talked about. Do not neglect these. These are awesome, and they combo really well with having a bunch of these zombies running around with reaction. You can make 4 fungal zombies a day, and if they kill somebody after biting them, they'll actually create more basic zombies that last like 10 turns, but your fungal zombie will last all day. But they're unlikely to survive anyway. They can cause more zombies and can get out of hand. It's a lot of fun. I would recommend letting them get the hits using Hold Person, weak targets, and spreading the fun around. But otherwise, be a fun guy with Necromancy. I don't really recommend it. I'm going to link up videos, but overall, like, if you want to know how to use Necromancy, you need to learn how to upcast and stack dead bodies so that you can get the better, stronger undead summons like ghouls, and then use your fungal zombies on maybe crowded fights, like I said, and complement them. You really have to make the character towards this, but it could be fun as like additional fodder on the battlefield to keep you safe and your allies safe. So I'm going to leave a video on a lot of Necromancy stuff, but otherwise, how do you actually play this, level these up? Otherwise, I'm going to drop the videos in the links, the pinned comment section. And I did play a level 12 Spore Druid in the Fungi playlist. He was the main character, actually. So come join the streams to watch awesome runs like that, or just check out the playlist, because I like answering your chat comments and just questions. You guys are ultimately my sponsors, and I love making guides for like this for you guys. Not to tell you how to play, but just show you what's possible, or maybe encourage you to play Honor Mode with any character you want to. So go and play Spore Druid. Until then, I'll see you in the next one.